You come from the hollow earth. Your body forms inside a shell of mineral frost buried in ancient ice fields. You grow slowly, absorbing radiation and minerals through that shell. When it finally cracks, the air drops in temperature and the ground freezes solid. That's your first breath, cold spreading across a warm world. You stand about 532 feet tall, larger than any known Titan species. Your full length reaches 1,148 feet, most of it tail and spine. You weigh close to 200,000 tons. Every step reshapes the ground, even solid rock splits beneath your weight. You're a glacier with a pulse. When you crawl on four legs, your shoulder height is about 260 feet, roughly the same as the Colosseum in Rome, stacked 3 times on top of itself. That means if you walked into downtown Rome, you'd see eye to eye with ancient history. But when you rise to full height, 532 feet, you match the Tokyo Skytree's lower observation deck, or the height of the Washington Monument. If you somehow stood on your tail, you'd reach halfway up the Burj Khalifa. Your outer armor isn't smooth, it's layered. The first layer is ice-hardened keratin, about 3 feet thick. Underneath lies dense plating that can resist direct heat over 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit before softening. Magma doesn't melt you. It steams and turns into glass before touching your skin. Tiny vents along your spine release cold vapor, keeping your core around 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Every few seconds you dump furnace-level heat, but as frost. Your blood isn't red, it's silver blue, thick as gel. It carries microscopic ice crystals acting as coolant. Average temperature in your veins, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Instead of iron, your cells use titanium and nickel. Metals that don't freeze. Deep cuts don't bleed. They seal under frost in seconds. Your brain is small for your body, about 12 feet across, but crystal dense and shielded. You sense vibration more than sound, mapping the world through movement. Reaction time, 0.07 seconds, faster than a blink. Your nerves transmit electricity through frozen channels. No heat loss, no delay. You don't just create cold, you carry it. A frost field about 2 miles wide surrounds you. At the center, it drops below minus 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Even at the edge, stone ice is over. Birds fall mid-flight when they cross your path. You are a walking climate event. You don't roar, you resonate. Your sound rests at 12 hertz, too low for human ears but strong enough to vibrate organs. It travels through ground and ice up to 20 miles. Other titans feel it as a warning. Don't come closer. When enraged, that hum spikes into a shriek that fractures cliffs. You don't heal, you rebuild. Tissue refreezes around wounds, sealing cracks in minutes. Broken bone fuses with minerals, becoming tougher each time. Lost claws regrow within 3 months. Slower in warmer zones. You don't scar, you crystallize. You don't age like mammals. Metabolism nearly stops during hibernation cycles that last centuries. You absorb background radiation instead of food. When you rest, you cool below freezing and become indistinguishable from glacier rock. People who find you think you're part of the landscape until you exhale. Your heart beats once every 12 seconds. Each pulse moves 30 tons of coolant fluid through arteries as wide as tunnels. Instead of oxygen, your blood carries condensed plasma that powers cryogenic reactions. If your heart stopped, the temperature around you would rise instantly. You're built like a polar bear engineered by a reactor. Compact muscle density. Thick forelimbs for digging through frozen rock. Your head design directs airflow for your freezing breath. Even your tongue has frost veins to lower ambient heat by 10 degrees Fahrenheit per second. Long ago, an ape-like ruler species found a way to weaponize you. They forged a crystal from your own tissue and a pain key tied to your nervous system. With it, they made you attack your own world. You froze cities, seas, even skies, not by instinct, but by command. When that crystal shattered, so did their rule. You can freeze a 3-mile radius in under a minute. Moisture turns to snow midair, humidity becomes sleet. You can control which body part emits cold. Tail, spine, jaws. Your breath hits minus 350 degrees Fahrenheit at full charge, colder than liquid nitrogen. Your body generates cold equivalent to about 2.4 gigawatts of thermal inversion, enough to match 4.8 million household refrigerators running at max power. To match your full-force frostbite blast, you'd need every fridge in New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago combined. All open, doors swinging, compressors screaming. You could flash freeze an Olympic swimming pool in 0.7 seconds or turn Niagara Falls solid in less than an hour. Basically, you're what happens when someone turns the entire planet into cooling mode. You're the reason the world froze once before. Ancient carvings call you the breath of the deep winter. The event humans call the Ice Age wasn't a cycle. It was an accident of your awakening. You didn't plan it, you just breathed. Your tail stretches 590 feet and ends in 4 crystal spikes. Each spike is 60 feet long, shaped like frozen blades. A full swing delivers 60,000 tons of impact force, enough to crush a ship. Shockwaves ripple through the ground before the hit even lands. You don't just move the air, you weaponize it. You and Iceman from X-Men. His body temperature bottoms out near minus 128 degrees Fahrenheit. Yours pushes minus 350 degrees Fahrenheit. He rides ice slides across cities. You could turn continents into his personal racetrack. You are solitary, not territorial. You prefer stillness. Long periods of inactivity conserve energy. Other titans avoid you, not out of fear, but because your cold depletes their metabolism. You're not cruel, you're indifferent. Your bones are filled with hollow cavities that store frozen gas under pressure. When cracked, these pockets release shock bursts that refreeze the wound. Your body thrives where oxygen is thin. You breathe nitrogen and trace radon without harm. Your eyes adjust to infrared light, letting you see heat like shapes in darkness. Standing next to you is like being dipped into liquid nitrogen, temperature minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit. At that range, human skin freezes solid in 0.03 seconds. Eyes crystallize instantly. Breath turns to glass dust mid-air. Even being 100 feet away drops core body temperature faster than hypothermia in Arctic water. Your roar generates over 180 decibels, louder than volcanic eruptions. But the danger isn't sound, it's vibration. Structures collapse just from resonance. Underwater, your hum can disrupt sonar across miles. Freezing takes fuel. Every full power discharge burns roughly 2.4 gigawatts, equal to 2 nuclear plants. That's why you hibernate. The world doesn't produce enough energy to sustain you constantly. You can survive almost anything, Sao, except total disconnection from heat. Without external warmth or radiation, your body stops generating frost. Too much cold kills you, the same way a star dies from exhaustion. Your existence reshaped history. Entire ecosystems evolved around the climate you created. When you slept, ice retreated. When you woke, civilizations vanished. You're less a monster, more a geological event with teeth. It sucks to be SHIM0. You're alone, frozen, and feared by everything that breathes. The world only remembers you when it's dying of heat. But hey, it could be worse. You could be Mothra, born to burn out every time you save the planet, wings on fire, life measured in hours, not eras. At least when you sleep, the world stays cold. When she sleeps, the world forgets she ever existed.